yards, and all of a sudden you throw a Dion in the mix, and now you got a big play threat to go with it. So Dion's definitely helped us on offense. Special teams, I think, is an area where he really has excelled. And those are talking about the big plays. But when I'm watching the film with the quarterback club and I see us run a play and I see Dion Blue downfield stalk blocking 20 yards downfield, that's what makes him a special young man. He's not a prima donna that's just going to play when the ball's coming to him. He's a team player, and he's a special individual, but he's really he's a quiet kid, but he's a very good leader with the way he plays.
Bottom line for the Deshler Tigers tonight to come out with their 5th straight victory.
Well, we can't get caught up in all the hoopla. It's homecoming. There's a lot of excitement. It's something that every coach has to deal with, and it's a necessary evil that you have to go through. But it also, it kind of excites the community and excites the school, and that's something I felt we've been missing the last couple of weeks. So definitely, I think being homecoming is a positive for us in that it will bring that excitement. It's the same thing. Our offense has got to continue to do what they've been doing. They got to dominate the line of scrimmage, which we've done. They got to hold on to the football, control the tempo of the game. Defense can't give up big plays and it's got to swarm the football, and we've got to be perfect on special teams.
Best of luck tonight, Homecoming 2009.
Thank you, Jimmy.
You've been listening to the Coach John Mothershed Show, head coach of Deshler High School in Tuscumia. Tonight, it's Wilson versus Deshler. You're listening to Tiger Football on the Big Dog, back after this 30-second timeout.
Timeout. Under the bright lights here on a Friday night, Deshler is at their best. The same is true at Jamie Hood Jewelers. Their best when they're designing and making custom jewelry. For any and all occasions, Jamie Hood Jewelers on East Avalon Avenue, Muscle Shoals.
Dedication, winning, championships. That's your Deshler Tigers. Looking for the same in a real estate agent? Look no further than Larry Green of Century 21 Clement Realty. Residential or commercial, let Larry Green put his expertise to work for you. Call Larry at 335-3577. Larry Green and the Deshler Tigers, a winning combination.
It's time to get back to the game on your home for Tiger Football. Rock 105.5, the Big Dog.
Welcome back to Howard Chapel Stadium. I want to thank all our sponsors, folks. Make sure you go by and say a big Tiger hello and a big Tiger thank you to all these guys. I want to thank Larry Green, Century 21 Clement Realty, for everything he does for Deshler Tiger Football. Larry Green, Century 21 Clement Realty, your home for Tiger Football. 335-3577. Bow, we didn't get back in time for the coin toss. Tell us how it came out.
Deshler wins the toss and will receive on the east end.
And here come the Tigers onto the field through another beautiful run-through created by the cheerleaders. Homecoming 2009. And Keith, we want to really commend the cheerleaders this year, doing an excellent job of promoting spirit in the school. And then Jason Zack, Micah Crunk, Matt Blazer, Stephen Abel across the front line for the Deshler Tigers. Also in there on the front line, it's Tevin Hampton, and it's a deep kick. Will be fielded by Dion Ballou on the right side. He's at the 35. Dion Ballou down the left sideline, makes one miss, makes two miss at midfield. Dion Ballou at the 40. Dion Ballou at the 30. Shucks the tackler at the 10, 5. Yes, Tiger touchdown. Dion Ballou, 72 yards on the kickoff return, and Homecoming off to a big start with 11:47 to go in the first quarter. Dion Ballou takes the opening kickoff, 72 yards.
Boy, lightning strikes, Jimmy, on the first play. Kicked it kind of short, and they bunched up over there. Dion kind of came out, made a couple men miss, and then what he's done so much better this year's in the past is when somebody gets an angle on him on the sidelines, they hit him, but he's so much bigger and stronger this year, they're not able to knock him out of bounds.
That's exactly right. Caught him at the 20 with a great angle, of course, and he just shucked that tackler and went on in. And Caleb Henry has it up and through out of the hold of Jamel Morris, and Tigers strike like lightning. 7-0, Deshler on top. Tim Ballantyne, it didn't take him long to get it going.
Pretty quick 75 yards, Jimmy. He just a great run over there.
Disheartening for the coaching staff and the boys in the royal blue pants and the white jerseys with the royal blue numerals.
I had somebody ask me this week, said, well, just how has Dion been doing? They said, I've been traveling a lot here. And I said, well, a lot of the games he doesn't touch it this much. And then I started thinking, but he's got a 57-yard end around.
Yeah.
He's got a 65-yard punt return. And I just got thinking, every time he touches it, he seems likely to go the distance.
And it's 6 games into the year, they keep kicking to him.
Yeah.
I punt to him, and they kick off to him, and I don't understand.
Yeah, and Coach Mothershed even said in the pregame show, you got to be careful. Your own players stop every once in a while to watch him, just to watch to see what he's going to do.
It's been quite a thrill, folks, just to call his name out here these last couple of years, and he's got a bright future ahead of him. Grades, he's working hard on, Keith, and making the grades, and just got an unlimited future. Good kickoff by Caleb Henry to the 10-yard line. It'll be fielded by the up back, and he'll bring it to the 25 and hit hard at the 27-yard line. I believe that is
Dylan Boston.
Dylan Boston with a big lick on the return man for Wilson. And I believe that is Riddle on the return. It'll be 1st and 10 Warriors at their own 27-yard line, trailing 7-0 behind a 72-yard kickoff return by Dion Ballou to the Deschler Tigers. Tigers 4-1 on the season. 4-man front. It's Blazer at the right end, then Mills and May in the middle, and Ferguson anchoring the left side. Option by Canterday, and it's J.R. White there to scoop him up after about a yard gain to near the 29-yard line. Good tackle, J.R. White, and it's 2nd down and 9.
They're trying to come out of there and just read the tackle and decide whether he wants to give the ball to the fullback or not. Before the fullback could even get through the line, J.R. had blitzed up where the guard left from and tackled him for, he actually gained about a yard. But
J.D. Williams gets the start at outside linebacker on the right side, J.R. White on the far side, and big Dylan Boston in the middle for the Tigers, the junior. 2nd down, 9 yards to go at their own 29. They'll give to the fullback over the left side. He'll have it out over the 30 to the 31-yard line before that very name. Boston comes in with his 2nd big hit of the night. J.R. White also there, Charles Jackson. So 3 Tigers on the stop. And Dion Ballou, Jamel Morris, Jonathan Bates, Ryan Goodlow, that's your defensive secondary for Deschler on 3rd and 7.
Notice, Jimmy, that Jackson is I think that's 2nd week in a row he's got a start or been in there after a couple of plays. And that secondary, again, playing similar to Ryan Goodlow, where he walks up a lot at the linebacker
So
slot.
Goodlow has walked up now to another outside linebacker, Kennedy, on a penalty play, and they'll stop play. Oh my, Chris May, a little bit ginger getting up there. I tell you, we don't give him enough credit, Keith, Chris May, for what he has meant to this team this year. Wilson penalized 5 yards, illegal procedure, but Chris May just dominant on both sides of the football.
Yeah, that's something, I guess, when you're on the radio or some people on the TV, you have a tendency not to do when a guy just seems to be in the backfield every play, and he just seems to be back there busting up the play every time before it gets started.
3rd and 12 now. Wing T set. They'll give to the tailback on the end around, and he'll have it back to the 30-yard line before J.R. White and Ryan Goodlow, Matt Blazer there to make the stop for Deschler, and Wilson will be forced to punt, facing 4th down and 8 at their own 30-yard line, trailing by a touchdown behind a Dion Ballou kickoff return, and now Ballou will drop deep around midfield.
Yeah, just what coaches would want right there. Good, solid defensive stand. Brings up 4th and 8, and hopefully, they'll have learned from the first one. They'll kick this one out of bounds. Hopefully for them.
10 men on the line for the Tigers. Look to be coming after it, and they do bring a big rush. Ryan Goodlow in there, but they kick it right to Ballou, and he'll fair catch it at the 39-yard line. Goodlow almost had it blocked, but a good punt out of there by Wilson, and it'll be 1st and 10. Deschler Tigers, their first offensive possession of the night, starting at their own 39-yard line behind senior quarterback Parker Wright.
Yeah, like to see us come out tonight, Jimmy, and establish the pass a little bit early on. I'd like to, it's hard to pass sometimes when you get a big lead like we have some weeks previous, but maybe tonight we'll start out early.
Blazer and May on the weak side, Crunk your center, then Jason, Zach, Thompson, Ben Norwood. Summerhill in motion to the left side. They'll give it to him. He makes one miss in the backfield, and D'Anthony Summerhill behind a good block by Blazer. He'll have about 6 yards out over the 45-yard line. It'll be 2nd down and 4. Deshler at their own 46, leading 7-0 with 9:03 remaining in the first period.
Yeah, patience by Summerhill on that play, just waiting for his blocking to set up. Blazer got bumped coming out, but he got out there, made his block, and as soon as he kicked his guy out, Summerhill cut up in for a good 6-yard gain.
An official timeout, linebacker for Wilson having a little bit of trouble out there. And now they're set, ready to go on 2nd and 4. Gardner, Summerhill, and Will Miner getting the start at wingback. He's in motion to the left side. And they'll give to Gardner over the left side. He's got a hole, and he'll be near a first down, be just short. It'll be 3rd down and less than a yard after a 3-yard gain by Jay Gardner on his first carry of the night. 3rd, and we'll call it 1 yard to go, ball at the 48-yard line.
Yeah, good blocking up front. Jimmy Kaiko got a start tonight at wide receiver. I noticed.
Here comes Jonathan Bates checking in for the sophomore Will Miner. Boy, he's got a bright future for the Deshler Tigers. Tigers on top 7-0. Good crowd on the home side for the Deshler Tigers. They have really packed it in here tonight for this homecoming gala. Bates in motion. Quick pitch, Summerhill to the right. DeAnthony Summerhill, he's got the first down and inside Wilson territory to the 44-yard line, 6-yard gain. Now 7 yards on the carry by DeAnthony Summerhill, and his 1st and 10 Deshler.
Quick pitch outside the end, and Jonathan Bates doing a good job getting out on the defensive end and pushing him, and a nice run by DeAnthony Summerhill.
Coach Miles and Coach Ham both signaling toward Parker Wright the play. Double wing set now, Summerhill and Bates. Gardner the fullback, Bates in motion. They'll give to Jay Gardner over the left side. He's making a couple miss, driving still on his feet. He'll have 10, maybe 11 yards. Unbelievable run that time, Keith. Just taking 3 with him inside the 35 to the 34-yard line.
7 guys around him by the time they got him down that time. It was only, I counted, there was only 4 guys that wasn't in on the pile trying to get him down on the ground.
Tim, good tough running then.
Very hard running, just determined run. Just a very determined run by Jay that time.
Give him 11 on the carry, 1st and 10. Deshler Tigers. Dion Ballou now checking into the ball game offensively. Let's see if they don't elect to go to the air here on 1st and 10 inside the Wilson 35. Tigers on top 7-0. A 72-yard Dion Ballou punt return. Wright going to roll out, looking, and overthrown. Intended, I believe, for Norwood. We had a passel of folks out there in the pattern along the right side, and Bates had broken open deep, but I think he tried to bullet it in there for Norwood, just overthrown.
Yeah, we really had 3 guys too close to each other that time. They were able to defend us, about 3 guys with 2, because we were all in the same. Jonathan Bates was running down the middle of the field. He was pretty much wide open, but again, I don't think he was the intended receiver. So we had too many in one area.
2nd and 10 now, ball at the 34-yard line of Wilson. Tigers on top by a touchdown. Ballou way out to the left side. They'll give to Will Miner, his first carry of the night. Racing outside Miner on a penalty play. He'll have it inside the 30. Good 8-yard scamper by the sophomore Will Miner, but it may be coming back. Tim, looked like a possible hold by the Deshler Tigers.
Could be hold.
It is holding, and that is a costly penalty as the Tigers had driven it to the 35 and now back us up outside our own 45-yard line.
It's a penalty right there they could almost call on every play. As you watch TV every Saturday, when the end is trying to do his job and get outside and make them cut up,
that's right.
And the blocker, his role is to get on the outside and turn him in, and so many times they do get a hold of that shoulder pad, and that time they called it.
2nd and 20 at the 45. 6:50 to go, first period, homecoming. 7-0 Tigers. 3 and out on Wilson on their first possession. Deshler on their first offensive possession. They'll give to Summerhill over the right side. He's hung up in the backfield, breaks free, and can't get free. Number 55 for the Wilson Warriors. And that is Williams on the stop, 5'11", 192-pound senior, and he's an excellent player at linebacker for the Warriors. And it's 3rd down and 20 now, ball at the Warrior 45.
Yeah, Donald Williams is a 5'11", 200-pound middle linebacker, one of the captains for Wilson tonight, doing a good job that time. Just would not let go of DeAnthony's jersey. DeAnthony was trying his best to pull away from him, but Williams did a good job hanging on.
Norwood slightly split out on the near side. Ballou, the flanker, he'll come in motion, and they'll hand it to him around the left side. Dion Ballou, he gets a block from Gardner around the left side, and Ballou will have it down inside the 30 to the 27-yard line. Let's see where they spot it. I'm sure Coach John Mothershed will elect to go for it here. 4th and 3, ball at the 27 of Wilson.
Yeah,
good run and good block.
Yeah, sort of like the Wildcat play with our regular quarterback taking the snap, but the one you see every week where the guy comes in motion and he either gives it to him or pulls it out. That time gave it to him around the left end. Dion, just good blocking out there, but also a lot of breaking of tackles out there by Dion to bring up 4th and about 3, I believe.
It was a shotgun formation. Ballou came in front of Parker Wright. He handed it to him around the far side. He got some good blocking and did a lot on his own. Managed to have us in a 4th and manageable situation here. Wright going to roll out. Looking, going to launch it out there for Bates, and he's got it. Jonathan Bates at the 11-yard line. Good throw and catch. Parker Wright to Jonathan Bates. He leaped into the air and made a good catch.
We may not be throwing a lot, but if you wondered if the coaches have confidence in Parker, that'll tell you right there. 4th and 3, 4th and 4. DeAnthony's usually pretty good for that, but we decided to go the passing route, and I think we surprised Wilson. Jonathan was wide open, and time the ball got there, he had to jump up and made a really nice catch.
Good job, Parker Wright, finding the open receiver. 1st and 10 at the 11. Minor in motion. Gardner Summerhill behind Wright. Quick pitch, DeAnthony Summerhill to the left side, trying to get outside and just can't do it. Loses a couple of yards back to the 13, and Wilson doing a really good job of pursuit tonight on DeAnthony Summerhill. And it's almost like the teams have to decide, Keith. Last week is like Calvert County said, we're not going to let you have the middle.
That's what.
And tonight they're saying,
yeah,
we're going to do whatever we got to do.
We're going to stop the run.
Yeah,
we're going to bring 8 guys up here, 9 guys. You may pass and you may throw over the top, but we're not going to let you run it down our throat.
2nd down, 13. After a 3-yard loss, 7-0, Tigers on top. Dion Ballou returned the opening kickoff, 72 yards. Tigers on their first offensive possession, give to Gardner in the middle of the field, and he's hit back, goes outside now. Jay Gardner around the left end. Can he get in there? Yes! Tiger touchdown. It looked like a pinball.
That's exactly
coming off a bumper, Keith. He got blasted in the middle and rolled around the left side and squirted in there for the touchdown, 13 yards.
We've been doing this together too long, Jimmy. That's exactly what I was going to say. He looked like the ball hit the little bumper.
Yeah.
He went into the line. He literally came back, straight back almost to where he got the handoff, did a little spin move, picked up a block from Parker Wright around the left end, and outran everybody to the corner.
13-0, 3:57 remaining in the opening period. Jamel Marsh holds a perfect snap. Caleb Henry has it up and through, and the Tigers march 55 yards in a whole bunch of plays after the penalty, Keith. 51 yards, and Tigers on top, 14-0. Tim went in there, and the linebacker said, no, you're not coming this way, and he bounced it around the left side.
The linebacker just made one mistake. He didn't lock up. He really blasted him, but didn't lock up, and Jay bounced back, spun off, and just a great run down the sideline. Lots of effort.
Keith, this offensive front, Norwood at the tight end. Then you got Rashad Thompson, Jason Zack on the strong side. Remember, going to get Randy Foster back in there next week to spell Rashad offensively so he can go back to defense more. Then you got Micah Crunk, the senior center. Then Matt Blazer and Chris May on the weak side, and all year long we have been able to move that ball effectively on the ground.
Yeah, and what a great job the guards do pulling out, on every play, because so much of this offense is built around the guards pulling and clearing out and leading and doing a good job there. And as you said, and we talked about it, Randy coming back next week, they'll slowly work him in. That's just going to be a good situation for depth.
So behind a big 4th down conversion play, Parker Wright to Jonathan Bates, the Tigers get another score here at homecoming. Caleb Henry again, an awesome kickoff down to the 5-yard line. It's Jamel Marsh, the sprint man, who has the Warriors wrapped up at the 25-yard line for Wilson. That's Thomas Blevins Jr., 6'3", 185-pounder on the return, but Jamel Marsh met him head on and the Warriors will take over 1st and 10 at their own 26-yard line.
Big hits on both kickoffs tonight. I've noticed the crowd is just the big ooh coming through the crowd as the guys make the hit on kickoff both plays.
3:50 to go, first period, 14-0, Tigers on top. 4-man front for Deschler. Wing T offense for Wilson. They'll keep it on the option. And I say wing T offense, it's a wing T setup, Keith, but they're running the option with a fullback and then 2 wing backs or a wing back and a tailback.
Yeah, they run it a totally different type than we do. They run it almost more like a veer where he steps back and reads the tackle and then either gives it to the fullback or pulls it out and runs the option.
Stephen Abel checking in now for J.D. Williams, the senior linebacker. 2nd and 9, I believe Ilkin Mills, J.R. White in on the stop on 1st down. 2nd and 9, Warriors trailing by a couple of touchdowns here in the first period. Abel's right in there at nose guard, 5-man front now for Deschler. They'll give to the fullback, and he's stacked up at the 30-yard line. A couple of tough yards for the Warriors, and it's Dylan Boston stepping up in there at middle linebacker to make the stop for Deschler, and it's 3rd down and 6 now for Wilson.
Yeah, we went with the 5-man front. Stephen Abel working himself in there, providing us good extra player in the middle of the line, and the defense just continues just to stuff people, Jimmy, and just hold people. Yet to give up a first down.
Only 80 yards giving up a game rushing all year long for Deschler. Tigers 4-1 on the season. 3rd and 6. Canterdy going to look to throw. Launches it out there, and it's incomplete. Oh, my goodness. We have a penalty coming out. Looked like good coverage. Charles Jackson out there running step for step with a receiver. Let's see who they elect to call this one on. Just blanketed pass interference against the Deschler Tigers. I don't know.
Yeah, he was just running with him step for step. The only reason I guess he could call that is he never turned back sort of to look for the ball, and he just kept running straight in front of the guy, which, like I said, just had to see. I didn't ever see him put his arms out or up or anything.
15-yard mark off, Tim.
Yeah, Jimmy, the official right on the play didn't call anything, but the back judge came in and I guess thought he saw something.
1st and 10 at the 45-yard line for the Warriors. 14-0, Tigers on top. 4-man front this time for the Deschler Tigers. Wing back in motion. Quarterback will keep it behind the fullback, and he'll be into Tiger territory down to the 47-yard line. Good, tough running by Lane Canterdy, and he'll have about 6 yards inside the 48-yard line of Deschler.
Yeah, good, tough player. He's their best athlete on the team, and he's the one that if they're going to go tonight, if they're going to do anything offensively, he's going to have a good night. And he is a good player, was a good player for him last year, and he's really a good leader and a good athlete.
2nd down, 3 yards to go for the Warriors. Inside 2 minutes to go, first period. Jimmy Gardner along with Keith coach Tim Ballantyne. Glad you're with us on this beautiful night for high school football, folks. They'll give to the big fullback. And when I say big, folks,
that's
Donald
Williams.
Big. That is Williams,
the middle
linebacker, number 55, turned running back, and he'll have a first down inside the 45 at the 43-yard line of the Tigers. And somebody that can finally say to Chris May, hello, sir.
Yeah.
He's big.
That's their version of the big package, except they like to give theirs. We usually bring our big guys in there a lot of times and let them lead through the hole, but they're actually handing it to their
nothing to nothing at the end of 1 quarter of play, Russellville versus Muscle Shoals. 14-0 here at Howard Chapel Stadium. Split backfield. They'll give to the fullback again. Dylan Boston there to wrap him up at the 40, but he plunges forward for about 3, and I believe the coaches from Wilson are saying, I believe we found something that can keep us in this game. 3 yards in a cloud of dust. Let's give it to him.
Yeah, not a bad idea. I mean, if he can run up in there and fall forward for 3 or 4 yards, they keep the ball away from us and keep us from scoring. They eat the clock up. And like I said, if they could just keep driving it down there inside our 40, about the 39.5-yard line right now.
He's a rare bird in the fact that he's listed 5'11", 192, and he actually looks bigger than that on the field. Most of the time, you say, I don't know if he's that big, but this is a hunk of a guy back there, folks. Canterdy going to look to throw it. It's tipped. and knocked away by Jonathan Bates. Actually had a man open on the slant, but the tip ball, and I could not see who got a hand on it. But we tipped it, and that gave Bates time to make up some ground, and he knocks it away. 3rd down and 7.
Yeah, had a guy running a slant pattern. It was actually, it was open for a step or two, but by the time the ball was tipped and floated up in the air, J.R. White did a good job knocking it down.
3rd down, 7, ball at the Tiger 40. May be the last play of the first period here. 5-man front for the Tigers. And the quarterback gets hung up with a fullback, and Williams says, hey, man, give me the ball. I want it. And he finally takes it, but he'll be stopped short of the 1st down. He'll have it at the 37-yard line, bringing up a 4th and about 4, Tim. Decision time for Wilson.
I think they're going to let the clock run out in a quarter and decide what they're going to do.
That is the end of one period of play with your score, Deschler 14, Wilson nothing. You're listening to Tiger Football on the Big Dog, back after this 30-second timeout. Miss Emily Mothershed. Emily Mothershed, coach's daughter, Keith, I think a 7th grader at the middle school, and I believe one of the very first games she's ever missed. They actually drove her into the Russellville game when she was about a week and a half old. So she's been to nearly every Deschler Tiger game that she was able to attend, and she's not feeling well tonight. We want to send her our best and our love and hope you get well soon, Emily, and we miss you tonight. Oh, man, Keith, you know it's killing her homecoming.
Young coach, he's made his decision. He's going to go for it here on 4th and about a long 4, I guess.
At the 37-yard line of Deschler, 5-man front for the Tigers. Remember, they held Colbert County on 4th and less than a yard. They give it to the big fullback, however, and he's close. It will be a left or right foot spot as the big fullback, Williams, came plowing over the left side, and he is just a handful. And let's see what they say. 1st down, Deschler did not make it, just short, but a game effort by the Warrior offense, and I believe it was Dylan Boston and Goodlow in there on the stop. Tim, could you tell who came up and finally stuck a helmet in there? Dylan Boston having a great game tonight. 1st and 10, Deschler Tigers. Ball at their own 34-yard line, leading by a couple of touchdowns here early in the 2nd quarter. Norwood, Thompson, Zach, Crunk, Blazer, and May. That's your front for Deschler. In motion comes Summerhill. They'll give it to him. He turns it upfield. DeAnthony with a big hole makes one miss. He's at midfield. Summerhill down the Deschler sideline at the 40 and run out of bounds at the 40-yard line. Good open field tackle that time by the Wilson Warriors. That is Philip Price, who runs Summerhill out of bounds to save a Deschler touchdown, but a big run nonetheless by the senior tailback.
Yeah, terrific run, Jimmy. Just I believe it was a 26-yard run, if I'm not mistaken. He went up the middle, broke outside. The line did a great job. Dion was downfield trying to break, and they finally, pursuit caught up with him.
Double wing set now. Parker Wright will send Summerhill in motion. They'll give it to him again around the right end. Trying to outrace the defenders and can't do it this time. Stop for no gain at the 40. Good pursuit once again by Thomas Blevins Jr., who runs Summerhill down along the Wilson sideline. 2nd down, we'll call it 10 yards to go at the 40.
Yeah, big strapping guy. He's 6'3", Jimmy, and he was stretching out there, chasing Dion, and he dove for him and held him to about a 1-yard gain on that play.
14-0 Tigers on their 2nd possession of the night. Dion Ballou took the opening kickoff 72 yards for an exciting start to homecoming 2009, where we'll crown Courtney Ricks our homecoming queen at the half. This time give to Summerhill over the left side. And he's tripped up after a couple of yards to maybe the 37-yard line. And hustling way downfield is Norwood with a great block. But Summerhill unfortunately got trapped by the linebacker, couldn't catch up with him. It's 3rd down and 7 as Minor will check out in favor of Jonathan Bates, the senior. Parker Wright awaiting the play selection with 10:29 left in the first half. Deschler 14, Wilson nothing. Let's see if the Tigers elect to go to the air here on 3rd and long. Ballou split to the left side. Bates in motion. They'll give to Gardner over the left side. Jay Gardner's got a big hole. He's gone. Jay Gardner at the 10-5. Yes. Tiger touchdown. Great hole to run through. And Rashad Thompson, one of his best friends on the team, really clapping his hands together. He knows he made a great block, and Gardner goes 40 yards for his second touchdown of the night.
Yeah, right up the middle. Jimmy literally looked like he was just shot out of a cannon. I mean, just running straight up. Good block in the middle. Made the first guy miss, and then was just off to the races. He split the backs, and was it 40, officially 37 yards? Big run.
37 yards on the touchdown. 20-0 with 10:09 remaining, and give that offensive line all the credit in the world. That's the senior, as Henry has it up and through. That's the senior Matt Blazer, the senior Micah Cronk, the senior Jason Zack. That's the interior and the heart and soul of that line. Then you bounce on out to the senior and Division I commitment Chris May on the weak side, and then the junior Rashad Thompson and senior tight end Ben Norwood open a huge hole for Gardner. And boy, as you said, Keith, good speed as he just split through the linebackers and the safeties could not.
And he ate up those 37 yards.
Tim, let's take a minute to talk about the unity and the way these guys block and hustle and play for each other, not for themselves.
I believe, as far as I can tell, this team has much more of that than any team we've seen in the last several years. I think they just love each other and care about each other, and they want to work for each other.
And that was, you saw that in the coaches show, Keith, when Coach Mothershed was talking about, fullback blocks for the tailback blocks for the wingback blocks for both of them, and Dion Ballou, who doesn't get the ball, probably, as we said, nearly as much as most SEC 4.30 guys would think they need to get the ball. He's downfield blocking just like the rest of them.
Yeah, never says a word and always hustling. First guy to congratulate whoever scores. And it really is a little different to see a team, the whole team have that sort of personality, and there's not a lot of rah-rah, but a lot of workmanlike.
And boy, has Caleb Henry, has he done the job this year. Another kickoff way down to the 5-yard line, and another huge hit on the return man. It's Jamel Morris and Jonathan Bates down there hustling. And for the Warriors, that was William Terrell, the senior, 5'9", 150-pounder, and he was running hard as he could, but he just met a wall, and his name was Jamel Morris and Jonathan Bates, and they stopped him at the 18-yard line. 21-0, Tigers on top. But, Keith, so many times you see teams with all the talent in the world, but they don't have that little missing link, and this team got a pretty good bit of talent, and they've got that missing link.
I agree with you.
1st and 10. And they'll give on the end around, and it's Evan Ferguson with a big hit on the play. And that's our man, Thomas Blevins Jr., the lanky 6'3" frame, and he is really an athlete for the Wilson Warriors, but can't outrace Evan Ferguson from that defensive end spot, and it's 2nd down and 10 now, Warriors.
Yeah, Evan Ferguson that time with a big hit just slammed him to the ground, Jimmy. Just, hustling over from his off-end side on this side, running all the way across the field, and good containment on that side by Matt Blazer. Ilkin Mills turning them up in where Evan could make the big hit.
7-0 Russellville at the midway point of the second quarter. 21-0 here at Howard Chapel Stadium, and they'll give on the end around. It's Ferguson once again who will catch him in the backfield. Evan Ferguson, the senior defensive end.
And Jimmy, just as we talked, a minute ago, he makes big hit on one side of the field, comes back, hits the guy 6 yards deep, and on the other side, gets up, walks back to the huddle, and waits for him to call the next signal.
It's just not a lot of fanfare, as you said.
They just do their job. They just do what they're supposed to do.
3rd down, 16 way back at the 10-yard line now.
Kind of reminds me of the coaches. They act like they've done it before.
Yeah, that's right. 21-0 with 8:42 to go in the second quarter. 3rd down, the whole bunch. And Kennedy, he'll give it to the big fullback, and he's pushed back by the junior J.R. White. and just a good mixture of juniors and seniors, and now you're starting to see some sophomores, Charles Jackson and a few more like that, to really start stepping in, Keith, and help this team as we get ready to that stretch run. And really it's 3 seasons. It's get to Colbert County, and then it's get to Brooks, and then it's on into the playoffs.
Yeah, you're exactly right. And traditionally, that's we say this a lot, but that's why we are usually so good. As the year goes on, there's usually a sophomore they find, a junior they find that maybe didn't come out of camp starting or contributing.
And Coach Mothershed really a genius at finding those, giving them a chance.
Yeah.
You know, putting them in there and plugging them in, like Will Miner tonight, getting the start at wing back, his first of the year. They'll kick it away from Dion Ballou. He'll try to run it down, and Will at midfield picks it up on the bounce. Dion Ballou to the left side, and we're going to have a clip, but Ballou's going to come free at the 30 and down to the 27-yard line. Just poor judgment there. I believe it was a sophomore who just made a sophomore mistake there, and he is getting an earful from Coach John Mothershed as it will come back. Tigers on top, 21-0.
He did hit him in the back, but all I can say is, I mean, he's running as hard as he can. He's looking for somebody to block, and the only thing you got to remember is that guy right there was not going to catch Dion. Once Dion turned sideways and started toward the sideline,
need to hit him.
That's right, because he was going to. But like I said, there's not a whole lot you could say when he's going as 110% trying to make a block.
And that'll back the Tigers way back to their own 37-yard line, leading 21-0. But, folks, if you're listening at home, it's just what you see on television every Saturday. The sprint man for the punt team gets ahead of the defensive guy, who then turns offense, and he's trying to chase him down. And the guy's still running forward, and he just catches him from behind and makes that block.
They're
going
to call it every time.
Yep.
It's out there on an island, you know.
Shotgun formation now. 2 wide to either side for Wright, looking to throw. Parker Wright on a penalty play, going to dump it off to Gardner out in the flat. Jay Gardner, he'll make a couple guys miss. Another one miss. Still on his feet. Jay Gardner to midfield. A 13-yard pass completion, but it may come back. We have a hanky on the near side, and Coach John Mothershed has his headsets off, and he's ready to get on to the Tigers. He's a couple of penalties on consecutive plays, and the head man is not happy.
You saw what happened out here. Both our split guys were in the backfield, and right before he snapped, the one on the inside tried to step up on the line, and what Parker's got to do is stop for just a second and give him, let him slide up there, because that's the play that we've been begging for, all night. A little swing pass, and
let you back do his work.
Good.
1st and 15 now, back out of the shotgun, 7:15 to go in the first half. Tigers up by 3 scores. Wright looking. Going to have it complete to Norwood at midfield inside Wilson territory. Now that was a good throw and catch. Parker Wright to the senior tight end, Ben Norwood, moved the chains for Deschler, an 18-yard gain on the play. And boy, again, the line gives him all day to throw the ball.
That's what I was going to say. If you'll block for your quarterback like that, your quarterback, he can make the throws. That's why he's your quarterback. So if you'll just give him time, he looked at about 3 receivers on that play before he saw Ben Norwood break open.
1st and 10 Tigers. Shotgun with back to either side. They'll give to Gardner over the right side, and maybe a couple down to the 46-yard line, couple yard gain, but just didn't fool anybody on a little half draw play, and it'll be 2nd and 8 now, Deschler.
Yeah, working out of the spread a couple of plays right there too. Spreading Wilson out a little bit, going to throw it around, give Parker a chance to throw it. 6.5 minutes to go here in the second.
And you can't discount Tim. This is homecoming. This is a senior homecoming game. It's special on a lot of levels.
Yes, it is, Jimmy. You want to give that senior a chance to throw it a little bit.
Here goes Wright, going to roll out, looking, going to have Norwood again, complete to his favorite target, Ben Norwood inside the 30 and down to the 25-yard line, 21 yards on the throw, and a beauty, a rifle shot by Wright out to Norwood.
Yeah, it's 3 for 4 on the night, Jimmy, and I think we can start to establish who his favorite target is. I believe him and Ben Norwood have a little combination going there.
1st and 10, ball at the 26-yard line now. Parker Wright exclusively out of the shotgun on this drive. Twin receivers to either side with Gardner to his right. Wright going to look, going to dump it off to Jay. He's got it somehow or another on a penalty play. What a catch over there on the far side, and they'll have it for about 5 yards as just a one-handed grab by the fullback.
Roughing the passer.
Roughing the passer on the Warriors, so that'll be a 15-yard mark-off after the play, and that'll move it probably close to the 10-yard line. 21-0. Tigers on top.
Did good job that time. He was looking downfield and everybody was covered, and one man broke loose, but he just drifted back a little bit to make sure Jay was open in the flat. Threw it a little bit in front of him. Jay did a great job of juggling it. Picked up about 8 yards. Then the guy went on to hit Parker Wright, and but he's fine. He's up, and it he's already at the line of scrimmage.
Yeah, we'll be at the 11-yard line after the mark-off, and still out of the shotgun. It's Summerhill and Keiko to the left. Jonathan Bates and Ballou to the right, and Gardner just to the right of quarterback Parker Wright. And it's Thompson and Zach, then Crunk. And boy, what a good job Crunk does on those snaps. Here comes somebody loose in the backfield, and Parker Wright will go down, but it may be a face mask against Wilson.
Probably going to be a horse collar, Jimmy.
Personal foul, horse collar, you're right, Tim, against Parker Wright, but he just came untouched, I believe.
That was number 8. That was our
yeah, Thomas Blevins.
Yeah.
And you just wonder, does the fullback, he sprinted out, does he need to stay in, maybe pick that guy up? I know it's not designed that way, but they just outnumbered us. They had more guys coming than we had blockers.
Yeah, it just depends on which way they're running that play. Like I said, once that guy broke free past Jay was wide open in the flat, so it's whether they either want him to sit in and check him or to go on out in the flats and be wide open.
And Blevins still pleading his case out there. I didn't get him I had him by the outside, and he may have. So 21-0, 5:47. Timeout on the field. We'll take a quick 30-second timeout as well. You're listening to Tiger Football on the Big Dog.
Athletes, if you have a desire.
Welcome back. Jimmy Gardner along with Keith Coach Tim Ballantyne, statistician Nan Gardner. Glad you're with us for Tiger Football. 21-0, Deshler on top. Want to say a big Tiger hello to Stephen Abel and Cassie Abel. Stephen, of course, a junior lineman, and it is both of their birthdays, Keith. 2 years apart. Brother and sister, same birthday, so happy birthday to the Abel.
Yeah, that's happy birthday. That's a little strange. You won't find that happy.
And boy, what a year Stephen Abel has had. I know Father Walter, who Deshler graduate, so proud of Stephen. First and goal now after the mark off for the Tigers. Right, looking, gonna launch a bullet in there. It's caught, touchdown, yes! Deshler Tigers, a rifle from Parker Wright, the senior, and it's Jonathan Bates, the wide receiver, on a button hook, and he threw that ball a long way, Tim Ballantyne, right in front of you, and it had some zip on it.
Yes, it did, Jimmy. Jonathan just came out and hooked out and just sat down right there, and Parker put it right on the numbers.
And Tim, he had to stay in there because he knew he could feel the guy coming. He was going to get hit.
Right, great catch. Just great job to hang on to the football.
So 27-0, Tigers on top. Another good snap. Morris has it down, and Caleb Henry, just an exceptional senior campaign kicking the football. And it's 28-0 with 5:41 to go in the first half. And want to say a big Tiger hello to John Sasser tonight. He's a big Tiger fan and listens when he can. He's off at college now, but he's rolling in this Friday night, and we want to say a Tiger hello to Sasser and all his buddies.
Yeah, I always like to tell John Curtin. Oh yeah.
On the touchdown, that's on his recommendation. So Tiger football has kind of eclipsed it, I believe, over the years. But yes, it was the original. So I appreciate Mr. Sasser for that. 28-0, Tigers with 5:41 to go in the contest in the first half. And Russellville on top, 14-0 with 3 minutes to go in the first half at James F. Moore Stadium across the way. Good crowd on hand, Tim Ballantyne, here at Howard Chapel. Oh,
Jimmy,
he
that
filled us all. He's not listening now.
Jimmy, 2 or 3 things I thought good came out of that drive. Not only did we get some work for Parker throwing the ball, which I think he was about 4 for 5 on that drive, but also it was a sort of a 2-minute. We sort of did the 2-minute thing where we didn't really go to a huddle, and there's always going to be a time somewhere before the season's over, whether it be before half or before the end of the year, before the end of the game, where we'll need a 2-minute offense.
Caleb Henry with the approach. Now, Goodlow and Morris, that's your sprint man, and here comes Jamel down the field. He's already made 2 tackles tonight. This time, he'll leave it for Kai Cole and Dylan Boston with his 2nd tackle on kickoff tonight. So Will Miner also in there helping out. But you're talking about a guy in the program, that's Kai Cole, another one of those guys that stays in there, works hard, and he's reaping the rewards now. You know, it says in the Bible, Keith, you sow sparingly, you're going to reap sparingly. But, hey, he has sowed. What am I trying? He sowed a lot. And he's reaping the rewards now. I lost my word there. 1st and 10 for the Warriors at the 27. Kennedy going to look to throw it out to the left side. And he's got a man there, and it's incomplete. Goodlow runs out of the backfield and has great coverage, just smothers the receiver, and they can't get it in there, and it's 2nd down and 10.
It's one of our learning points right there, Jimmy, that we've been talking about all year. That's a play that's been pretty successful against us this year, is that throwback where they sort of roll one way, fake to the back, going around the left end, and then get everybody rolling the other way and then throw back to him. But you can tell we've been teaching, and that was Ryan Goodlow's man that time, and he was chest to chest with him.
2nd and 10, Wilson. 28-0, Tigers on top with 5.5 minutes left in the first half at Howard Chapel Stadium. Kennedy going to keep it, and he pays for it at the 30-yard line. Big hit, Matt Blazer going both ways for the Tigers this year. The senior, he's at the weak guard and then turns around and has that defensive end spot nailed down as well. And he makes a big hit, holding the fullback to a couple of yards at the 30. It's 3rd and 8 now for the Warriors.
Yeah, just a play where they fake to the fullback, and then the quarterback tries to follow the fullback right back up through the hole. But so far tonight, we've been on target on that play every time.
3rd down 8 for Wilson. Blevins in motion. They'll pitch to him around the left side. Blazer turns him in, and the Tigers wrap him up. Good hustle, Matt Blazer out there to turn Blevins in, and then it was Dylan Boston and Chris May, the tackle, hustling out to make the stop at the 35-yard line. 4th down, 3 yards to go for the Warriors, and they'll have to punt it away. 28-0, Tigers on top, and pretty much since the opening bell, the Tigers have had it their way.
Yeah, it's been one of those games where we've just sort of did what we had to do. You know, we've had explosive play on the opening kickoff. We've worked on our running game some, and then last drive went back and worked on our passing some too. So it's been a good night so far for Deshler, and we've held Wilson to about, let's see, I've got 3 first downs so far.
4th down and 3, and this time drop back Goodlow along with Ballou, and boy, isn't that a dangerous combination. And they kick it away down the Wilson sideline, and there'll be no return. Ball at the 40-yard line, but Keith, before I let my thought go on Kai Cole, the point of that Bible verse and the point I was trying to make is you get out of it what you put in.
Reaping what he sowed.
Yeah. And he's put in a lot, and now he's reaping those rewards.
Well, and that's good because, I mean, we say it a lot, try not to be repetitive, but, you know, for some that don't know, you know, these kids come up here all summer, 6 o'clock in the morning, and they work 2 or 3 hours, 4 days a week, and you've heard coaches say it, it's a year-round now.
And, you know, really, Coach Tandy Gerald's back in '85 as Ballou this time lined up in the shotgun, and he'll keep it around the left side. Deion Ballou makes the guy miss in the backfield and cannot make a couple of more Warriors as they stretch it out and run Ballou out of bounds after about a 1-yard gain at the 41-yard line. But Coach Tandy Gerald's arrived in 1985 to Deshler High School, and he really changed the mindset of thinking all over Northwest Alabama with that mindset of, hey guys, we're going to put some more into it, and we're going to get some more out of it. And it took about he saw it instantaneous, but 3 years into it, and there we are in the semifinals of the state playoff.
Yeah, you're right. And he, we just started getting bigger and a little stronger and a little faster. The athletes have been around here for a long time, for years and years, and then all of a sudden, they just and it kind of caught on. Other people started saying, what are they doing? And now you see it everywhere around.
Again, Ballou will keep it up the middle this time, and he makes a couple miss, still on his feet. Can he make some magic happen? No. He's brought down after about 4 guys had a chance at him. It's 3rd down, and the Tigers find themselves with 8 yards to go, and they say, hey, enough of that. We'll bring Summerhill and Gardner back into the game, and out goes Evan Ferguson and Dylan Boston, the 2 jumbo tight end set. And Parker Wright back at quarterback on 3rd and 8 with the Tigers up by 4 touchdowns, 3 minutes to go.
Something else here we need to work on, a 3rd and long. You need to get consistent. 3rd and long, you need to at least get more than 50% of your 3rd downs, to have a good ratio there.
But for 25 plus years now, the Tigers have just been cranking it out every year. Wright going to look, and in and out of the hands. A drop by Ballou, a rare miss, and Deschler will be forced to punt it away on 4th and 8, their first punt of the night. And Dylan Boston, the junior, will come in to attempt his first punt of the 2009 season, and that's a change. And Caleb Henry doing such a great job kicking the football, and Boston has been steadily improving in his punting keys. And Coach Mothershed, as we said, makes that little bit of adjustment, says, hey, let's let Dylan come in and spell Caleb and give Caleb more time to work on kicking, and let's see what kind of punt he can get off here at the 30-yard line. And it's a good one, end-over-end kick, sends Wilson way back inside the 15-yard line, and it'll be down at the 14. So good job, Dylan Boston, on the punt. And I don't believe he'll ever get one block, Tim Ballantyne. It's one step and gone.
One step and gone.
I was trying to look somebody must have had a stopwatch on him over here.
42-yard punt.
Yeah, I was going to say about 42, 44-yard punt.
So 1st and 10, Wilson, bright spot for the Warriors. They stopped Deschler the first time tonight. Tigers on top, 28-0 with 2.5 minutes to go in the second quarter, and Wilson will get the ball to begin the 3rd quarter of play. 1st and 10, ball at their own 15-yard line, 4-man front for the Tigers. Quick pitch again, Blevins around the right side, and he's tracked down once again. Evan Ferguson in the backfield back at the 12-yard line, and scratch that. It was Dylan Irwin on the carry, but nonetheless, same result, and it's Evan Ferguson in the backfield.
Yeah, for a 3-yard loss. And it's just going to be hard to, run wide on us with Blazer at one end and Evan Ferguson at the other. I mean, the guys are just going to do their job. They're going to play their technique and do what they're supposed to do.
And it's really time to start talking 3 weeks away, 3 weeks from tonight, game of the year. If everyone stays healthy and the people take care of what they're supposed to take care of, it's Brooks versus Deschler here at Howard Chapel Stadium. 2nd and 13 for Kennedy. He'll give it to the big fullback. He breaks free, and most of the Tigers saying, I really don't know if I want to get in there and get me some of Big Williams, as he'll take it for about 13 yards, and it may be a Wilson first down before he's wrestled down by Ryan Goodlow and Jonathan Bates in there for the Deschler Tigers. 1st and 10, Warriors at the 25-yard line behind the rumbling, stumbling Donnie Williams.
Yeah, big run right there of about 14 yards. Their first down of this second quarter, and but still Deschler yet to give up any points, and so they're still holding true to their tough defense.
1st and 10, Wilson, 28-0 Deschler. Inside, a minute and a half to go. First quarter, and they'll give to the fullback again, and boy, give Williams all kind of credit as he battles for maybe a yard, but four Deschler Tigers all over him. It's Chris May, and May slow to get up, folks. He has hurt that left arm, and boy, I tell you what, that's twice that he's been slow to get out of the pile tonight, and I may have to take him to the sideline, Keith. His left wrist, I believe, is what he's holding. We sure don't need to get anybody hurt inside a minute to go, timeout, 28-0, Tigers on top. But that's the one area where we are a little bit behind some teams in the past, Keith, and that's depth.
Well, yeah, but we've been building some depth slowly the last 2 or 3 weeks. New names coming on every week. J.D. Williams, Charles Jackson, names that you're starting. Rashad Thompson next week.
Right.
A couple of weeks we'll be able to hopefully slide back and play a little more exclusively on the defensive side. And then, like you said, as we get into the second half, a lot of these games, you've been seeing Will Minor popping up late in the second half. Now it looks like he's starting to start at the wing back position. Kai Cole tonight started at split end. So you're seeing a lot of different names, a lot of different guys getting in there. Justin Cantrell's been getting a lot of reps in the second half of games. You remember a year or so ago in a big game, Chase Blackburn took a big lick to the head, and Parker had to go in and this year
finish
hopefully
that game in overtime, a playoff game.
And hopefully Justin would be prepared for something if his number got called.
2nd and 10, Wilson after the timeout. They reset the clock. 1 minute left in the first half. Kennedy looking to throw. He's got time. Has it out there, and it's almost picked off in and out of the hands of the receiver. Bates actually went for the interception and missed, but it deflected, and it went off the shoulder pad of the receiver, and it's 3rd down and 10.
Nice break on the ball, though, by Jonathan. He really was just kind of baiting the quarterback into throwing it out there and hoping that he would throw it, and Jonathan broke on the ball and really, like you said, it was going to step around him and go for the interception and just had his timing off just a little bit because he probably would have carried it in for 6.
14-0 at the half. Russellville on top of the Trojans. So well-played football game as advertised in that Region 8 5A contest. 3rd down 10, Warriors. Kennedy under center. And he'll give to the fullback, and boy, you can tell Coach John Mothershed had a talk with that defense because somebody sure stuck their helmet in there that time, Tim Ballantyne. I believe it was Dylan Boston and Matt Blazer.
Yeah, they really popped him the last 2 times he's carried the ball after that 13-yard run. I don't think they want to let him get loose in the secondary.
28-0, Tigers on top. Clock stops for timeout with 49 seconds remaining in the second quarter. We'll take a quick 30-second break.